Crime is on the rise in the U.S. Almost every major city experiencing an influx in violence, with crime rates 39% higher nationwide than before the COVID pandemic. A spike in shootings and murders last month sent crime rates in New York City up nearly 31% as Mayor Eric Adams attempts to crack down on the city's increasing violence. And for a closer look of the impact of rising crime on Americans, let's introduce you to tonight's panel. We have radio host Tony Katz and attorney and legal analyst Angela Senadella. Thank you so much both for joining us.
Absolutely.
And thank you, Angela. I do want to start with Tony. New York City Mayor Eric Adams says that its police officers are doing their jobs, but the city's criminal justice system has created a revolving door for repeat offenders. What do you make of that situation? Do you agree with the mayor?
Well, I'm not a super big fan of the mayor or his politics, but he happens to have this this problem with prosecutors, this unwillingness to prosecute, this almost joy in a political ideology in not prosecuting. This has become a nationwide issue, regardless of the big city that you're in. And it is an ideological issue in how they decide what cases matter and what cases don't, and if they should actually be in the business of prosecuting at all. Americans, by and large, believe that if you do a crime, if you commit a crime, there should be a punishment for the crime, or at the very least, there should be a trial. You should have to face your accusers. You should be able to defend yourself, innocent until proven guilty, absolutely. But the system has to at least engage. And what prosecutors across the country, New York, Alvin Bragg, or my beloved Indianapolis, and many other big cities, they're saying, no, we don't want to engage. And this is what has Americans so angry.
Angela, I want to bring you in here. There is an important matter of discretion. I know that you and I were discussing earlier this week. What do you think about all of this?
Well, I agree with Tony in part in that crime is obviously a problem and that sometimes these prosecutors aren't exactly prosecuting to the full extent that the public wants. But I don't think that it's fair to say that these prosecutors are just not doing anything at all. I think especially when you look at what happens with bail reform in New York City, remember the story of Kalief Browder. So years ago, Kalief Browder, and this is before bail reform, was held in Rikers for 3 years without a trial because he could not afford bail just for stealing a backpack, allegedly. Okay, so that's what the past was. Now I believe the pendulum has swung way too far in the other direction, and now we're in a system of where there's effectively almost no bail whatsoever. We need to take the politics out of it and come to a happy middle ground where we keep our public safe, but also, as Tony said, give everybody a trial.
Well, Tony, I do want to switch gears quickly. In
Sure.
Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis is taking a law and order approach in the Sunshine State. Last week, he suspended a state attorney there who vowed not to enforce Florida's new abortion law. Is DeSantis crossing the line here, Tony?
That's an argument for lawyers. I know some people say yes. The prosecutor there in Hillsborough County, where Tampa Bay is, was elected. And then there are other people who say this is shining a light on the seriousness of the issue, and that's what the governor's doing. There's an argument to be made about whether or not the governor has the right to do it. There's no argument that the people are disgusted by the idea that we don't go after criminals. It is simply wrong. This approach, this idea of restorative justice, if you want to call it that, or whatever kind of name they put to it, isn't working in any city across the country. Minneapolis said, we're going to defund the police, and then realized that was an absolutely terrible, miserable, awful idea. And now they're refunding the police. These plans, these progressive plans, simply don't work, and America knows it. So good on the governor, Ron DeSantis, for making people aware of it.
Angela, what do you think about this? Did DeSantis cross the line?
I got a lot of opinions on this. So first of all, as Tony does say, look, he says the people are disgusted. But can we go back to the fact that it was the people of Hillsborough County who actually voted in Andrew Warren, and they voted him in 2016, then re-voted him back in 2020. What I think is important to understand about crime is that it's often a neighborhood community issue. This is why there's prosecutors of different counties. There's not one prosecutor who prosecutes all the crimes across the state, because different neighborhoods have different problems. To the extent that Andrew Warren was voted in by his people in order to protect the priorities of his people, it is way beyond Governor DeSantis' jurisdiction to say, I'm going to politically just suspend him because I don't agree with him. Also, Natasha,
There is something politically happening when they don't prosecute. You must connect the dots between all these prosecutors and why they don't prosecute. They share an ideology. That's the real subject.
Tony, this is brilliant in theory. So, we could talk about this, yes, all prosecutors should enforce every single law. But in reality, that is not at all how prosecutors function. Prosecutors across the country exercise such prosecutorial discretion, which means they get to choose in their district what is most important and what is not. Now, I understand you could be like, that doesn't make sense. They're not doing their job. In reality, they never prosecute every single law. Do you even know what every single law is in your state?
Oh, we have too many laws. Let's start slashing them left and right. You and me could have a very good time with it. But in reality, they're not prosecuting serious crimes based on an ideological connection. The connect the dots matters greatly here. Their ideas don't work.
Tony, we started with you. Angela, I'll give you the final word on this.
Well, just across the board, prosecutors are voted in, and when they are voted in, they are showing the will of the people, and it is up to the governor to respect that.
Tony Katz, Angela Senadella, this is exactly why we wanted both of you on. Thank you so much for your opinions and for bringing the energy tonight. We appreciate it.
Take care.
Thanks for having us.